Hey there guys, how we doing? Welcome to another episode of Pommyinoz. If you are new around here, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel out. We're right near 200. We are ploughing away. That was the aim for the end of this month. We've got about 5 days to go, so please give it a sub. So what we're doing today is we're down to round 4 of the AFL tipping. TPI has had a bit of an issue. These shortened quarters don't really suit its algorithm. So this week we have been whittling away and trying to get it to calibrate a little bit more, as it's got effectively a quarter less to try and deduce where it comes from. First game is tonight at 7:40 at the Sydney Cricket Ground between Sydney Swans and the Western Bulldogs. It should be a real ripper game. Both sides have kind of shown a bit. Sydney probably are playing a little bit ahead of where people are, where the Doggies have been kind of in and out of their season. As we can see, we've got an 82 rated Western Bulldogs side versus an 81 Sydney. And TPI is tipping the scoreline to be 55 to Sydney, 70 to the Doggies. 61% win chance for the Dogs. And obviously, you know, they have just lost Dunkley. It's going to be a tough ask. I'm going to stick with TPI on this one. I reckon that the Doggies will get up. It's going to be a tough ask though at Sydney. It's a tough place to go, but it should be a ripping contest. Then Friday night at 7:50, we're at Giants Stadium for GWS versus the Pies. GWS were many people's tips to win the minor premier, including myself and including TPI. The shortened quarters do look to suit that kind of explosive game plan. As we can see, the GWS side were rated an 83, and they've got a projected score of 63 with a 42% chance of winning. Collingwood, they have been flying. They look really good and really secure. They had a real wonderful win last week against St Kilda, and an 83 side for Collingwood, they have projected to get 71, so the final score there turns out to be 71 Collingwood, 63 Giants, with a 58% winning chance based on 1,000 games. I fancy Pies for this one too. I'm going to stick with TPI. I think it should be a ripping game though, but you've got to be wary of GWS. They can't keep a good man down, and you would have thought that at some point they're going to get it right. Talking about getting things right, we're at Metricon with the Eagles against Port. Now, the Eagles were my pick to actually take out the flag, and they haven't travelled well in the hub in Metricon. They've really struggled. They've had some surprise defeats, but you can't, again, I can't look past the quality of the Eagles. Eagles 84 team, rated team, one of the highest in the competition, with a projected score of 60 and a 34% chance of winning against high-flying Port, who have been really phenomenal and really adapted super strongly. 71 projected score for Port Adelaide, 66% chance of winning with an 82 team rating. Should be a good matchup. I'm going to go against TPI here. I think the Eagles will get it right. TPI is projecting an 11-point win for Port. I'm going to go against it. I have to go against it. We're going to make it interesting. Then we're at 4:35 at Marvel. We've got St Kilda, and they entertain Richmond. Now, St Kilda have been were disappointing last week. Many people had them as to an outside chance to beat the Pies. They have played good football. Butler, Hanbury, Zach Jones, their new kids are really giving them a bit of impetus. They didn't quite get going. Richmond, on the other hand, many people are saying there's a minor crisis there. An 86 team, though, Richmond. They are one of the highest in the comp again. Projected score, though, of 88 with an 87% chance of winning. The TPI really thinks that after 2 disappointing performances, Richmond are going to fly here. I think with Dustin Martin coming back, I know there isn't much to look at in win ratio without him, but I reckon this is going to be a huge game, and I reckon Richmond are going to respond. Just looking at their media, they have really said that it's about time about turning corners. St Kilda, I think this is just a job too far for them. I'm going to stick with TPI on this. 88-57 is what TPI is saying. I think it will be a decent win though. I don't think it will be that big a margin, but I think Richmond will control the game and get the job done as well at Marvel. Then in the evening, we get to go and see my mighty Blue Boys entertain Essendon. Essendon had a real interrupted up and down week with, was it a positive test, was it not? No one quite knows what was going on there. And at 7:40, I'm sure they'll be itching to go. An 82 rated Essendon side TPI gives them with a projected score of 78 and a 58% chance of winning. Carlton, on the other hand, had a phenomenal win at Geelong, and against all odds, no one tipped them. Even the bookies said that you had no hope in hell. An 81 Carlton, they got a rating increase this week. Players starting to play to their potential over the 3 games. 72 projected score with a 42% chance of winning. It's going to be a tight game, and as you can see, 58 to 42% isn't a huge margin. On this though, I've got to go against TPI. I can't see Carlton losing it. I think Carlton have turned a corner. I think that was a line in the sand. I'm tipping Carlton. I'm going against TPI. I can't believe it's tipped the Bombers. Also at the same time, 7:40, probably no one will watch this. Metricon Stadium, Gold Coast entertain Freo. Real tight game this, and it's really hard to see. Freo, young side, Gold Coast really resurgent and playing some good footy, particularly Matt Rao. He looks phenomenal. We can see both sides are an 80 rated side with a 65 scoreline playing and 60 for Fremantle, 51% to 49. It is literally a toss of the coin. Gold Coast, for their recent form, are favourites, also with a home advantage. I'm gonna stick with Gold Coast on this as well. I think TPI is right. I think Gold Coast will get this win, and I think once they move away from Metricon, it'll be interesting to see how they go. Sunday, the afternoon fixture is Brisbane versus Adelaide. 82 for Brisbane. Brisbane are playing some good footy. They've been grinding and they're starting to hit their straps, you would have thought, where Adelaide have been absolutely woeful this year. Really are struggling. An 89 scoreline is predicted for Brisbane versus a 37. This should be one-sided with an 89% chance of winning for Brisbane versus 11% for Adelaide. I'm going to stick with TPI. I can't see Adelaide winning. They are in all sorts of bother, and I think that should be as safe as houses. Then at 3:35 we go to the MCG. After the week break, Melbourne play Geelong. Now Melbourne an 82 rated side with a projected score of 62 with a 25% chance of winning. Geelong on the other hand, 83 rated side, 81 scoreline and 75% chance of winning. And I'm going to stick with TPI here. I think Geelong are going to really put on a show. They'll be smarting from that loss to Carlton, and I expect a huge Scott-like response. Should be an intriguing game though. A lot of how will this mini week break affect sides. I'd imagine in a short format it's going to be even more prevalent. Then the final game is 6:05 at Marvel Stadium, and you've got Clarkson's current team against his old team when he was a player in North. And it should be a ripper this at Marvel, I think. You've got Hawthorn 82 rated with a 62 projected score and a winning percentage chance of 45%. Playing North, 71 and 55%. It's going to be a real tight game, and TPI is saying that this is close. TPI is favouring North in this one, incidentally, and that might be a surprise to some, but you can see why. Marvel, North genuinely play that well. They do look like they're grinding results, and I do think they've got the tools to hurt. I think Richmond really did show the vulnerability of Hawks, and they didn't take the chances. Interesting enough, if they'd taken their chances, TPI was predicting at one stage a 72% chance for Hawthorn to be overrun. I think though Clarkson's got something going at the moment. I'm going to go against TPI here. I think Hawks will win. It's going to be a tight game though. I mean, how will Dad's Army cope with North? North got a lot of young bucks there with your Taylors, your Zerhas and co. I can see why TPI thinks North will get the job done. It's going to be tough though. That's the tips then, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know how you go. Let's hope TPI's little editation this week will help. Have a wonderful week of football. As always, pleasure talking to you. Have a wonderful weekend. See you next week. Pom out.